It was 6 in the morning. It was a Sunday morning. We got up early to begin a 950-mile road trip to the ocean. It was a family vacation. Everyone was real excited. And I even took my Chevy Suburban in to have my mechanic look it over. That way I wouldn't have any issues. But within 15 miles of our journey, it begins to leak antifreeze. I was only 15 miles in. I had 950 miles that we were supposed to go. It was 6 in the morning. It was a Sunday morning. Auto parts stores wouldn't open, till probably 10. Do I turn around, go home, cancel the vacation, or do I get creative? I decided not to let this stop me, and I'm getting to this destination, even if I have to tow this vehicle there. I'm Brian Hill. I've owned multiple businesses for 20 years, and I've learned that setbacks are not exceptions to the journey. They are the journey. This is chapter 20, broken down on the side of the road from my book, Business is a Journey, Not a Destination, and this journey is your life. And I'm going to tell you what a leaking radiator hose, duct tape, Walmart bags over tennis shoes, what they taught me about execution when everything goes wrong. Since it was Sunday morning, Walmart was our next stop. And, I had to purchase the necessary items: antifreeze, rubber gloves, duct tape, and I picked up a handful of Walmart plastic bags. I duct taped the leaking radiator hose. I topped off the antifreeze. We said a prayer, and we started driving east. 4 hours later, when the auto parts stores opened, I purchased an upper and lower radiator hose, just in case, and then got the new clamps. And before leaving, I topped off the antifreeze again, and we continued east for another hour and a half. And that was until lunchtime. And then we decided to go inside and eat. That way the car could cool a little bit as we ate. And after lunch, my son and we went out to replace the upper radiator hose. And we got started, and a little bit later, my wife and two daughters came out, and they were embarrassed because they came out of the restaurant to find my son and I with our shirts off, rubber gloves on, and those extra Walmart sacks, they're over our white tennis shoes. And all the churches in this town must have just released, because there was a long line of cars in the drive-thru. They had free entertainment as they watched us. My girls quickly climbed in the car out of the sight. They didn't want the crowd looking at them. I yanked that upper radiator hose, and it spewed like a fire hydrant. Warm antifreeze went everywhere, splashing everywhere. And you might notice it wasn't my first rodeo. Thus, I put the Walmart sacks over the tennis shoes. As the drive-thru audience watched, the new radiator hose was quickly installed, antifreeze was topped off, the system was burped, and off we went. And they say that when your number one problem is eliminated, your number two problem gets a promotion. Well, here I am now, hot and sweaty, and I'm burning up. And I'm like, why is this AC not on? And I reached down to turn it on full blast, and it was on full blast, but it was blowing hot air. Well, for no reason at all, the AC quit working. And, this was only 6 hours into our long trip. And, of course, it's August, and there's another 750 miles to go till we arrive. And, oh well, so we press on. Crazy stuff can happen on your business journey. Money issues, ridiculous tax bills, loss of key employees, broken down vehicles. You get the idea. Do not let these things frustrate you. Instead, persist and seek creative ways to get things done so you can get to your destination. In my business, I use subcontractors at times, and it blows my mind how many of these business owners, they're quick to call with a lame excuse of how they can't get there. But, how they can't keep their promise. And I pressure them to perform as promised. And then, somehow they figure it out and they get it done. I don't want excuses. I want execution. As a customer, I don't care that your car broke down. I don't care that your cat died. I want my service or product when I was told I was going to get it. And, if you're honest, you're the same way. When things do not go as planned, I try everything within my power to get the job done on time, as I promised. Even if that means I don't make a profit on the job. And some problems may need to be communicated to your team. There's a few times that I saw no way to get something done, and I took it to my team, and they came up with ways that, stuff I never even thought of. And then we're able to get the job done on time and, keep our promises, have happy customers. And the best part, I didn't have to call with a lame excuse. It might be time for you to start being creative in your thinking so you can overcome any setback that comes your way. So here's what I need you to understand. You will break down on the side of the road. Maybe only 15 miles in, 935 miles to go. Plans falling apart before they've really even begun. And when that happens, you have choices. Do you turn around? Do you give up? Do you call the customer with a lame excuse about why you can't deliver, why you can't keep your promise? Or do you get creative? Figure out a way to execute, reach your destination. I could have turned around, gone home, called it off. The mechanic just inspected the vehicle. Nobody would have blamed me for canceling. I could have blamed the mechanic for missing it. But that's not how I'm wired. Walmart bags over the tennis shoes. That's how I'm wired. Shirts off in the restaurant parking lot. Church crowd watching from the drive-thru. Air conditioning dead in August with 750 miles left to go to Florida, plus the ride home. You press on, because here's the truth. Your customers don't care about your problems. I know that sounds harsh, but it's reality. They don't care that your car broke down. They don't care that your cat died. They don't care that your supplier failed or your employee quit or your equipment malfunctioned. They care about one thing. Did you deliver what you promised when you promised it? And if you didn't, they're finding someone else who will. I've had subcontractors call me with excuses. My truck broke down. My guy didn't show up. The supplier was late. I don't want to hear it. I want execution. And, when my car breaks down, when my equipment fails, when my plans fall apart, I do everything in my power to execute anyways. Even if it means I don't make a profit on the job. Even if it means duct tape and Walmart bags, embarrassment in front of a church crowd. Because my reputation, my ability to deliver what I promise is worth more than one profitable job. Here's what I need you to do. When you break down, first, don't let setbacks frustrate you. Expect them. They're coming. They're not exceptions to the journey. They're part of the journey, like it or not. The question isn't if you break down. It's how you'll respond when you do. Second, get creative. Pull out the duct tape, Walmart bags, prayer, whatever it takes. Creativity under pressure separates entrepreneurs who succeed from those who make excuses. Third, communicate with your team. Some problems you can solve alone. Others need brainstorming. I've taken issues to my team, and they've come up with creative ways to execute. And the best part was I didn't have to call the customer with a lame excuse. Don't be too proud to ask for help. Sometimes you need help with problem solving. Fourth, understand the difference between excuses and execution. Customers don't want excuses. They want what you promised. Deliver it. Even if it's hard, even if it costs you. Your reputation depends upon it. We did make it to Florida with the leaking radiator hose and a dead air conditioner. It was August. We made it because I wasn't willing to let a setback 15 miles in a 950-mile journey to stop me. Your business will break down. Money problems, employee issues, equipment failure, supplier disasters. Do not turn around. Get creative. Execute. This is chapter 20 from my book, Business is a Journey, Not a Destination, and this journey is your life. Full book breaks down how to persist through setbacks, execute when everything goes wrong. And if you've ever been 15 miles in your journey with 935 miles to go and everything falling apart, this one's for you. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll be releasing all chapters from my book here. You will break down, but setbacks doesn't stop the journey. They test your creative instincts, your commitment. So get out the duct tape, put on the Walmart bags over those shoes, execute anyways. Next chapter, we're going to talk about avoiding burnout. Don't forget to subscribe. More videos will be coming. Thanks for watching.